Okay, hello everyone. So for today, in this video, I'm going to explain about the next subtopic in chapter 5, which is 5.2 plant hormones or phytohormones. Okay, before we start, make sure you have your textbook with you and you have your notebooks to jot down or take notes while we explaining about this topic. Okay, let me share the screen first. So I have prepared a slide for this subtopic. Okay, so this is the slide. So 5.2 phytohormones. Okay, so phytohormones, you have heard the words phyto in the previous subtopic, which is phytoremediation. So phyto is stand for plant. So phytohormone means plant hormones. What is plant hormones? Plant hormone is a chemical substances that helps to stimulate and coordinate. Okay, so this word stimulate and coordinate we can call it simplified as regulate response in plant. Okay, so this chemical substance that help to stimulate and coordinate the response in plant. So stimulate and coordinate again, in one word we can call it as regulate, to control. Okay, regulate, or in other words we call it as control. Okay, so this chemical substance, this plant hormone, is synthesized at certain parts of plant and will be transported to the target organs in plants through phloem. Okay, so actually there are five major plant hormones or phytohormones. Okay, the first one is auxin, gibberellin. The second one is gibberellin. The third one is cytokinin. The fourth one is abscisic acid, and the fifth is ethylene. Okay, again auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, abscisic acid, and ethylene. There are a reason why we arrange it like this. I mean, why we mention the first three, auxin, gibberellin, and cytokinin. Then we mention the last two, abscisic acid and ethylene. Okay, because these three, which which is auxin, gibberellin, and cytokinin, is to promote growth. Okay, these three, one, two, three, is to promote growth in plants. Basically, all these three is to promote growth in plants. While for these two, abscisic acid and ethylene, is to more to like inhibit or slow down growth in plants. Okay, so that is why we mentioned the first three first: auxin, gibberellin, and cytokinin. Okay, so let's look at these first three. Let's start with auxin. Okay, so auxin, as you can see here, I divide these two functions. So we actually gonna look at the function. Okay, at the function of auxin. So I divide these functions into two. First is to stimulate, and then the second one is to inhibit. All right. So for stimulate, auxin is helped to stimulate in phototropism and geotropism. Okay. It's more like it's not really stimulate. It's to be precise, it's is functional, involves or responsible. Okay. Auxin is responsible or functional or involved in phototropism. We had learned it in previous session. And geotropism. Okay, tropism is the response of plant towards the stimulus. All right, so we're going to look at that how this auxin is related to phototropism and geotropism later on. Okay, next function of auxin is it's to stimulate the development of apical dominance. Where is apical dominance? Okay, we're gonna look it straight. Apical dominance. Okay, apical dominance is actually at the root and shoot actually. Okay, so apical mean it will be at the axis here. This is the apical dominance. So meaning that when we said auxin is to help to stimulate the development of apical dominance. So apical dominance, we know it will be upright. So this is the apical dominance. Yang where we call it it will become straight. So whenever there's a growth development, so from a small plants like this, it will grow upwards, it will go upright. So it says the development of apical dominance. That is the apical dominance, the growth of the elongation of shoots. All right. So we already covered that phototropism. Auxin is involved in phototropism, geotropism, and auxin is to help to stimulate the development of apical dominance. Okay, next. Auxin also helps to stimulate the growth and elongation in roots and shoot cells. Okay, it's actually is related from just now, apical dominance. So auxin is involved in growth and elongation in root and shoot cells. Okay, ini highlight there. Why the shoot and the root can become longer is because of the auxins. Okay, elongation. Elongation means make the root and shoot longer. That is elongation. Okay, next. Auxin helps to stimulate the development of adventitious roots. What is adventitious roots? Okay. As you can see, adventitious roots. Okay, adventitious roots is where the root has been formed not at the root cell. Okay, as you can see here in this picture, is actually from a cutting. Okay, we cut a stem. We cut a stem, and then when we put this stem into the water, there's a root coming out. This root, what we call adventitious root. Adventitious root, adventitious root is a non-root cell formed as root. Okay, it's not actually a not the stem is itself. It is a stem actually. but this stem will differentiate to form a adventitious root. Okay, next. So why this adventitious root happen is synthesized, is produced, is grow because develop because of the auxin. Auxin helps the adventitious roots to develop. All right. This can you can look at it at in daily life, or you can do it experiment in your kitchen at your home, where you can cut the stem of the vegetables and then you put it or your in or you can use any herbs, and then you put in the water, immerse this stem in the water, and you will get in a few days you will get this adventitious root. Okay, because there's an auxin there. Adventitious root because there's auxin there. Auxin helps the adventitious roots to develop. All right. So we already look at auxin as a phototropism, and geotropisms happen because of auxin, and there's develop of apical dominance because of, and auxin helps to stimulate growth and elongation in root and shoots, and also auxin helps to develop the adventitious roots. Okay, the last one for stimulate, auxin is stimulate the cambium development during secondary growth. Okay, that we have been discussed. The secondary growth mean woody plants. In woody plants, they undergo the secondary growth. So this cambium will grow because of there's auxin in that plant. All right. So inhibit. Inhibit means suppress. Okay, it means stop or slow down. So auxin inhibit the abscissions of fruits and young leaves. Okay, let's go to this word. What is abscission? Abscission is falling off. Falling off or cutting off. Okay, let's, this is plants, this is the stem, and then this is the leaf. When the leaf is fall off, we call it abscission. Okay, leaves or fruits. Okay, so logically, when these auxins promote the growth, mean that it will the growth, so it will stop the abscissions. Okay, boleh nampak logic dia, connection between that. Logically, auxin is promotes growth. So everything must stay in the plants. So it will inhibit the abscissions of fruits and young leaves. Okay, so it will inhibit the abscissions of fruits and young leaves. Okay, next, it's also inhibit the growth of literal buds. Okay, in the picture of apical dominance, I show you there's a plants. So actually, auxins is to promote or stimulate the growth of shoots. Okay, upward. Upward growth. Kejap ah. Upward growth. Actually, auxin is to promote upward growth. So it will inhibit, it doesn't promote the lateral buds growth. Okay, growth of lateral buds mean the side by side growth. Okay, so lateral buds means side by side, left or right. This is lateral buds. So it will inhibit growth of lateral buds. So dia tidak boleh, it doesn't happen simultaneously, meaning this auxin doesn't promote the upward growth and the side by side growth. No, auxin just control the upward growth, the apical dominance growth, development. Okay, but it doesn't stimulate the side by side growth. This side by side growth means the lateral buds growth. So it will promote the apical dominance development or growth, but it will inhibit the lateral um lateral what? Lateral buds growth. Boleh? Dia this only one of them. Tidak boleh dua-dua. Dia ada sama ada dia upward ataupun dia side by side. Right? So in this case, auxin control or promotes the growth of apical dominance. When I do like this means it's upward. Apical dominance, so it will inhibit the lateral buds growth atau lateral buds development. Alright? Okay, so we haven't finished about auxin because we have still another function here we haven't discussed. What does it mean auxin involve or functional in phototropism and geotropism? Okay, let's look at this picture. Okay, so this situation here, you can see it's actually because of hormones of auxin. Where, okay, the first picture here is phototropism. The second picture here is about geotropism. All right, so we discussed about the first picture. The first picture is about phototropism, means how these plants respond towards the light. So there are two situations. When the plants is from the top, the plant source is from the top. So the auxin will spread equally down both sides of plants. Okay, plants, it has sides. It has left, it has right. So when the light source of light is from the top, the auxin, the hormone, will spread equally down to both sides. So when the hormone or the auxin is equally spread to the both sides, so the both sides, so you know already that auxin is to promote or is to stimulate the elongation. So both sides will elongate together. Okay, the both sides will elongate together. That is when the light is at the top. Okay, so situation number 2, when the light is only on one side. Okay, in this situation, this source of light is on the right side. Okay, so again, that is the light. So let's go to the plant. Plant has a left and right. Okay, so whenever we have this source of light over here on the right side, on the left side of the plant, so kita akan ada, will have this bright and shady. Bright because there's a light, and shady because there is no light. So right side of the plant is bright side. The left side of the plant is a shady side. Okay, the interesting part of this, the interesting facts about this auxin. Auxin loves shady area. Auxin loves shady side. Okay, so meaning that when there is an imbalance, not equal source of light, so you know that according to this picture, right side is a bright side. There's a, because it's facing towards the light, but left side is a shady side because there's no light. So auxin will go to the left side or shady side. Okay, auxin. So here I will use another color. Okay, so this is auxin. Auxin will go to the shady area or shady side. Since auxin is present at the shady side, only the shady side will elongate. Only the shady side will elongate because the auxin goes to the shady side. So that is why the plant will bend because only one side is elongate. Boleh? Sebab hanya ada satu bahagian sahaja yang elongate, memanjang. Satu bahagian yang menghadap cahaya tu tidak. Alright, so that is the function of auxin in phototropism. We will discuss it more in the next class. Okay, the effects of auxin on growth of response. Okay. Next is geotropism. The second picture is geotropism. As you can see, even though the plant is being put, even the pot has been lie down, okay, like this, the plant still grows upright. You can see here the plant still grow upright. This is because during the phototropism, auxin goes to the shady side. During geotropism, not during. I mean, when we discuss in terms of geotropism, auxin will go to the will being pulled by gravity. Okay, so we have this plant. So we have upper, lower. So because of gravity, this is a plants. Okay, this is plants. So because of a gravity pull, the gravity force, auxin will go to the lower side. So meaning that this lower side will grow, will elongate. But that are the reason why the plants can grow upward. All right. So that is the function of auxin. All right. So that is auxin. Now we go to the second one, which is gibberellin. All right. So gibberellin, again, have in mind, gibberellin is to stimulate growth. Basically, it's just to stimulate growth. Okay, but how this gibberellin different from auxin? Okay, we know gibberellin, auxin is to stimulate growth. Gibberellin also stimulate growth, but auxin basically it stimulate the growth of shoot and root. That is auxin. But for gibberellin, it stimulate the elongation or the growth of stem. All right. So let's look. All right. So here, gibberellin is to stimulate the growth and elongation of internodes. What is internodes? Okay. Internodes or generally I call it a stem. Okay, tapi when we look, actually there's a section there in what we call internodes. Okay, so let's look at this picture. Yeah, before we go to the picture, let me say this first. Okay, gibberellin also stimulate the development of leaves, flowers, and fruits. Okay. So and also gibberellins stimulate to stimulate development of seeds, germination of seeds, development and germinations of seeds. Okay, and then it causes growth of flowers in dwarf plants. Okay, let's look at this picture. Interesting about gibberellin. Okay, when we look at this picture, it will help you understand more. Okay, so here, as you can see, this is a stem. This, what I draw a line, this is a stem. And part of the stem, you can find nodes. Nodes is where the branch out of leaf. Now, this is nodes. And between nodes, within this node number A, node B, we have internodes. Internodes. So this internode growth is controlled by gibberellin. Is controlled by gibberellin. All right. So you can see that gibberellin is control the length of elongation of stem, or to be exact, elongation of internodes. Okay. So this is controlled by gibberellin. This internode elongation, internode uh, growth, development. All right. Okay, second pictures. This second picture is quite famous if you learn about plant hormone. As you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All these plants that you see is actually a same plant. This is the same plant, but you can see the difference because the taller one is being treated with gibberellin hormone. Okay. Okay, let me tell you, this plant is actually a cabbage. Cabbage. You know cabbage, it's not a plant that have a stem, right? Cabbage is just like this. Then they synthetically, they spray the gibberellin hormone to this cabbage, and then you can see there's a development or elongation of internodes. It's become longer. All right. So by looking this picture, help me to understand what is the function of gibberellin. From cabbage like this, it will grow taller like this. So that gives me idea of reminds me the function of gibberellin. Gibberellin is to stimulate the development, the elongation of stem or internodes. And of course, the other growth is also help to um, the development and seeds germinations. All right. Okay. The third picture here, you can see this is a two types of. That's not two types. This only the same species of grapes. This is the grapes. Okay. Of course, this is a grape. But why there are difference between them? This is a bit smaller compared to this one. It's bigger in size. So that's the point. Gibberellin has been used in these bigger grapes to induce, to stimulate the growth of the fruits. So the fruits become bigger in size. Bigger in size means we can sell more. We can give it a high price for that because it look big, it looks big. So looks big, we can sell it at at a higher price, so we can get more money. So that's the point of selling the foods. We get to help to increase the economy. All right. So by looking at these three picture number one, number two, number three, it helps you to give the idea what is the function of gibberellin. So gibberellin is to stimulate the elongation of stem or internodes, and also it helps in development of fruits, flowers. and leaves. All right. Okay. However, this gibberellin helps to inhibit development of roots. Okay, it will inhibit the development of roots. All right, that is gibberellin. Now look at the third one, cytokinin. This is the last hormone that help to promote growth. Okay, cytokinin. Before we look at the what are the function of these hormones, cytokinin is same as cytokinesis. Where the cytokinesis term can be found, it can be found in cell divisions. Okay, so meaning that cytokinin, it helps to stimulate the cell divisions. Again, what is cell division? Cell division is to produce a new cell. New cell means new tissue, new organ. Okay, so in order to produce, we need a cell divisions. So cytokinins help to stimulate the cell divisions. Okay, let's look at the first one. Okay, so cytokinin again, it's to stimulate the divisions, and when it's divide, the cell divide, it will elongate. Okay, it will elongate the root and stem cells when there's a auxin. Okay, this logic. Let's say we are talking about stem kan. Okay, so this is the shorter version of stem. So this is the parent cell, and then keep dividing, divide. So it become longer. Divide, and longer. So that is the functions of cytokinin. It's to help to stimulate the divisions. When it divide, it will elongate. That's the logic thing. Okay. And it also help to stimulate the seed germinations. And this is the important one, growth lateral buds. Okay, before we go to the inhibits one, okay, just now in the auxin, okay, in auxin, it promote or stimulate the apical dominance growth, but it auxin inhibit the lateral buds growth. Okay, opposite to the cytokinin. Cytokinin is to promote atau stimulate the growth of lateral path. Okay. All right. So inhibit means stop. It's to delay leaf senescence. Okay, just now we had learned about abscissions. Abscission means falling off. Okay, falling off, cutting off. But senescence is aging process. Okay, how to remember the cytokinin? Cytokinin, just remember fountain of youth ataupun awet muda. Awet muda or stay young. Okay? So, cytokinin, the word itself helps to you understand. Cytokinins means cell divisions. So when the cell divisions keep happening, the plants will keep elongate. So it will keep growing. That is the word awet muda, youth, fountain of youth, kekal muda. Okay, and logically to stay in order to stay young, it will delay the senescence. Leaf senescence. Senescence is aging process. So it keeps growing so that it will delay the leaf senescence. Okay. Next. Okay, we had covered the first three um, hormone that promotes growth in plants. How about the last two, abscisic and ethylene? Okay.